It's not even on. Oh, how'd that happen? Oh, oh. See, I think my wiggling shut my mic off. Excuse. Okay, here we go. So while we're pivoting like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that helps you open and close your legs rather than stepping out like this, which is, some people like to do that. But the pivoting, as I was saying, is important because that keeps you connected to ground, and then it allows you to turn and pivot in different ways. So we're going to open. Okay, we're going to relax the arms. Now we're going to free up the torso. Just let it turn and twist. Where do you feel the twist? You can feel a bit in the hips, and you feel a little bit in the lower back, and you might even feel it on the sides of your body, because your ribs and all of your connective tissue and everything that's involved with this is part of emotion. Now, if you don't feel anything, it's because your body isn't turning, and it's probably resisting. So that would be tension. You want to let go and let it go as far as you can. But don't force it. Just kind of let it drift around and then switch and switch and switch. So believe it or not, because we're turning this way and it has to go back the other way, it's kind of winding up and unwinding, winding and unwinding. And that twisting, really, your body reaches a certain point like an elastic, and then it lets it go and goes the other way, lets it go. So you get your body moving, and that really helps kind of relax this area and create some kind of motion. That motion actually helps bring circulation into this area and brings oxygen into the muscles and so forth that you need to stimulate the body's circulation of energy in the body. Because if we don't move, we get tight and stagnant. You don't get good circulation, and you don't get enough oxygen into the areas, and then they kind of knot up, and then they get sore, and that's the pain that you're feeling sometimes is just your body screaming for oxygen. So that's why we have to breathe. That's why we need to move, because that actually helps alleviate some of those problems. Now, when we're here and we do the shoulder roll, we're doing the same thing. We're moving the shoulders to make a circle. Okay. Now, if you have a little trouble with this, just kind of try your best. You lift your shoulders, and then you try to create a downside, and it goes to the back. And if you do this correctly, you're actually involving this area of your chest, because this actually is moving as well. I mean, you have the ribs all the way up in this area. You can feel it moving, and then you go backwards. Okay, so you should just get that to free up. So it does take a little coordination and control. That's mainly because it's areas that we don't actually move a lot unless we do something similar to this. So that's a shoulder roll. So if you have a lot of tension in this area, actually that's helpful. And then we did the turning of the neck. That's kind of stretching the same neck muscles. We go side to side. We stretch the side muscles here. So that gets us to relax and let go of that. Okay, now press and release. So this is like swinging your arms when you walk, but this time we have to keep the palm facing the back. You press and release, press and release. Exhale, inhale. and stop. So we get the hang of this. We press is exhale. Exhale and relax to the front is inhale. Breathe through your nose. Breathe through your nose. Inhale and exhale through the nose. Okay, center. Deep breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, now we're going to make circles like this. So the elbows fold, the knees fold. Now, elbows straighten, the knees straighten. So it's a relationship, but you just have to practice this so you kind of get that feeling that the knees are actually going up and down. So going up and down is really part of building a stable base. Now we're going to reverse. So building a stable base really has to do with the knees dropping down and releasing the tension in the ankles. So we can go one way like this, and then we can go this way. Okay. So you have two circles, either this way or this way. So this is your lower hoop. Okay, this goes to vertical, and then it goes to lower hoop again. Here we go this way. We scoop, and palms down, scoop. So that's really just going opposite directions. So if I go this way, it's like this. If I go this way, it's like this. If I go this way, and this way. Okay, palms down. Bigger circle. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. We're going to do a few more. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and stop. Okay, next. We're going to stand with our feet closer together like this. Hands on the waist. Okay. Pivot like this. Here's your 90 degrees. Here's your shoulder width stance. Okay, so we pull the heels together, then we can shift one foot at a time. When we pull this foot in, we pivot on the ball of the foot and the ball foot. So this goes in 45 degrees. This goes in 45 degrees. So 45 and 45 makes 90. And then once you're in a 90-degree position, then you go back on the toe, we pivot on the ball of the foot, and then shift on the ball of the foot. That's shoulder width square stance. So that's important to keep track of where your body is and how it's like to shift and pivot, shift and pivot. So shift is to bring weight over, pivot is to turn, and you build that rhythm into your movements, and eventually you just, it becomes somewhat second nature, but you will learn to turn in a direction. Now this foot's going to kick out like that. You're going to kick out and turn. You're going to go forward and back. So that's the alternating of the knees. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. So you see what I'm doing? I'm making a 180-degree turn with increments back to the center, which is really like 90 degrees one way and then turning 90 degrees the other. Now when I kick my foot out, I have a 45-degree line here, and then I turn this 90 degrees to get in this direction. Now that went 90, so I'm going to go back to 90, and this goes back to 45. This is 45, and then I pivot. That's a 90-degree pivot. You see that? It's 90 degrees, and I go forward and back, and then I go back 90 degrees, and then toe to square. So that pivoting is control taking me into this direction. I go forward and back. And I pivot, takes me in this direction, go forward and back. And I pivot again. So see how pivoting is so important to take you in a direction. That's what we do when we go through the forms, because mapping out your footwork is really important. So this is important for walking and turning corners and changing directions. So we have to practice and understand how that works. When we're here, if our feet are together, if I turn like this, that's going to take me 90 degrees in that direction. If I take a step and I stop here, if I want to go this way, I pivot. But there is a sense of the weight staying on the unweighted leg, this is the unweighted leg. It's pivoting, and then we can turn. Now this becomes unweighted, and we can step and step. When the feet go together, you can turn in another direction. When the feet are together, you turn in a direction. So either way, you have an option. Once the feet are together, you can either go that way or that way, or that way or that way. Okay. So that's really alternating. Now, if I only want to go to the corner, I only have to go 45 degrees. 1, 2, 3, back to center, 45 degrees, back to center. So every time you turn a quarter of a turn, it's going to take you in a direction. So if I turn like this or turn like this, those are my options. If I go like this, I can face that corner or all the way around. I go back to center, I kick the heel out this way, and I'm heading this way. If I want to go back, I pivot again, and then pivot again. So that's really the mechanics of doing a pivot and taking you in a direction. I like to focus on a few of those drills because, sometimes there's a walking issue, and you want to know what the speed of your gait is and so forth. When we walk, we want to move our feet, but then yet try to keep our torso up in an erect position so that your body doesn't lead you and you're trying to catch up to your body. You should try to keep your body in a balanced vertical position. Then shift your weight to the side as you take this step. You shift your weight to the foot, and then you take the step. You don't look too far down that's close to your feet. You want to look out a little bit so you can see what's ahead of you. So between here and maybe 45 degrees out there, it might be 6 to 8 feet in front of you. And then when you're looking over there, you kind of see what's up in here. Because when you look in a direction, you're kind of gazing there. You're not pinpoint focusing like you're about to read something. You're just looking in a direction for space. And then the information you take in will be, maybe a response to what you're seeing. Could be the sidewalk's not level, or it's maybe misaligned, or there's a crack. You might be at home walking. There could be something in the way on the floor. Could be a threshold. All of these things, it's information. You take it. Then when you get to that point, you know whether you should stop. You should take a step over if it's a threshold. And, because you don't want to get your foot caught and then you end up stumbling. So all of this has to do with visual effect. And also it's picking up on information. So when we turn from this position, we're really pivoting on the heel to go to a direction, and then I'm going to pivot on the heel to take me in a direction. So once you've pivoted and you put weight there, then this is the opposite foot that's unweighted is the one you start to take your step. So that's how to maneuver to the sides. I think that's really important for people that have trouble changing directions. And then once you get comfortable with that, you build that coordination and control, you begin to understand how simple it is to go in a direction rather than, feel like you're out of control and you don't know how to get there and your feet don't respond. So then you end up kind of shuffling, not knowing where to stop. So that's not a good way of maneuvering, especially if you're walking around. And there's some safety issues there too if you're kind of stuck in a position. So, consciousness of position is very important because the more we pay attention to where our body is, part of proprioception, you know where your body is because you've been working in directions. So when I'm here, one of the directions I want to know is what's in front of me and how am I going to get there. So that's really taking a step. So if I go like this, there's a step. 1, 2, 3. Go backwards. 1, 2, 3. So what's the relationship? Front leg, opposite side. 2, 3. Okay, now, we're going to do that again. I'm going to go 1. Now you feel the body turning toward that front leg because my front leg's going to pick up all the weight and I'm going to step and then this one's going to go over here. I'm going to shift and step and then this one's going to go there. If I go backwards, it goes the opposite way. It goes the opposite way. It goes the opposite way. Then we go again. 1, 2, 3. Now this time we're just going to move the leg without moving the supporting leg. And we still build that same relationship. Twist, 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 twist. And then the foot goes out on the opposite side and we switch. Back to center. We're going to do it on the other side. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and stop. So all of this stuff is happening. All of these actions are happening while this foot is attached. So that's called rooting or grounding your step. It's important to get your hands and legs coordinated. Right? But that movement really takes us in this direction is front to back. This is really side to side. So opposite, counterbalancing. What's the supporting leg is that one. So when we go like this, we're really pushing out and going opposite. And then we're back. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now we'll go the opposite way. Let's go way out there. 1, 2. So it's way out there is like 45 degrees. You see this triangle? That's 45 degrees. Arms are parallel, right? Then I come in, go out, come in, go out, come in, and go out. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and stop. So forth. Okay, shake it out. Deep breathing. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. So that's really movement using the forward-backward concept and then moving from side to side. It's really counterbalancing. Now when we go from side to side, if I go this way, I find a center. Go this way, I find my center. 1, 2, just slide over. 3, 4. 1, 2. Okay, so that's moving laterally directly over there, and we're kind of bringing our arms over here because this is part of that, and then resetting. This is part of that, and then resetting. So your body develops, the the response to those two directional changes. So when I go like this, my leg goes here. I can pick up this leg and then switch and pick up this leg. And we just do it a few times. So we try to balance and lift. And lift. And lift. Okay, now we're going to bring the foot here and pause. And pause. Okay, shake it out. Deep breathing. So if you're having some balancing issues, those are a couple of drills that you can practice. Anything we're doing standing on our feet, we have to learn to shift and find that center. And find that center. Okay, so now if you look at this position, I turn to the side, it's fairly straight. Okay, so you want your spine to be as vertical as possible. You don't want to be leaning a little bit like this, because if you lean a little bit like this, you're tilted. Now, look at the butt. It goes out this way. Now you're going to be falling, feel like your body's going forward. So if you let your body do this and then you start to take your step, then your body's trying to catch up to the body's momentum going forward. So if you speed it up, you're actually going toward it until you can catch yourself. So that's not the ideal position to be in. The ideal position to be in is in a vertical position. Then when you walk, the bottom half is moving and the upper body is just going forward and catching up to where your feet are going. So if you move your feet fast, then your body's going to be always trying to go over that leg. So that's really the whole premise of why we move our hands and legs like this without leaning or leaning. We want to keep vertical. It's the erect vertical upper body, because your spine should be straight and your tailbone should drop down vertically. Okay. Then when you go into the stances, whichever ones that we're in, and we're here, the spine actually stays fairly straight. And the only way to keep the spine straight is not to change the body form by leaning or arching, and try to balance the musculature in the front of the body and the back of the body, side of the body, so you don't tilt. That applies to every part of your body. You have to balance your skeletal structure to keep it aligned. So alignment is a term that I talk about because the body needs to align. Aligning is to get your joints and your ligaments in a position where they align in a direction. So my hands are like this, and I say shoulder height. You're aligning your joints so you have a line from your shoulder to your fingertip. That gives you a line. If I go like this, it's misaligned. If I go like this, it's misaligned. But it doesn't mean that it's not potentially a position. So when the hands move, they have an option to take you in direction, but when we're in this direction, we have to align toward it. So when I go this way, my body is aligned to the front, and my hands are going to go in a square direction. So that's really how preparation is. It's really a parallel line in the frontal direction. Okay, shake that out. Let's go to this stance. We're going to hold the ball, and we're here. So this is called silk reeling. So silk reeling is a continuity exercise, and we want to build a motion. We're going 1, 2, 3. Here's your first front position. It's the third hand movement here, fourth hand movement here. And then we're back, and then both hands are down. Turn the shoulders, turn the shoulders, right hand up, left hand here by the hip. Then we're going to turn both hands down. 1, 2, hold the ball. That's hold the ball position. So this is part the horse's mane, or even diagonal flying has this slant. So this is silk reeling exercise with reference points of point A, B, C, D, E, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So that gives you an idea that there's 5 motions going through as one complete cycle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you cycle through and you have your forward, you have your back, you have your forward or twist, and then it just keeps tying together. Eventually it gets smoother and smoother, and then when that happens, you've learned the motion, and then you just control what it feels like in the legs. Shift, shift, turn, forward, turn, and we're back. Okay, so that's silk reeling. Those are the 2 stances. We work the legs forward and back. Okay, hands here, deep breathing. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. So the next thing we're going to do, going to stand in the position, okay? We're going to hold the position like this, okay? Lift up, all the way up. This is called carry tiger to the mountain. So we have 1 hoop here, 1 here, 1 here. That's 3. That's crossing the sternum, and this is lower hoop. So this passes through 1, 2, and 3. That's all it's having. 1, 2, and 3. So that's the infinity. That's the carry tiger. Now the infinity sign is this. So this is just a figure 8 on its side. This is my left side. This is my right side. This is both sides. So it's an infinity sign, figure 8 on the side. You're going out and in, out, and then in. Now here, forming the fist. And you punch. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you curl the wrist, let the elbow go up, and let the elbow go back down, and punch. Now if you're doing it like this, you let your elbow up, and then back down. That elbow up and back down is really opposites. Then when you form the fist, the elbow's back down, and then you punch. So you're simulating a punch, but then at the same time you're manipulating your fingers to create a motion like this, right? So you're really manipulating, gyrating the joints so that it actually create little patterns. Okay, deep breathing again. And then we're going to go to strum the lute. So here's your center line. This is your triangle position. Now, I don't know if this is more helpful to look in the mirror to find that center line. We're just going to separate the hands and move. Separate the hands. Separate the hands. Now we do the thumbs up, palms together, and we alternate the shoulders. So one hand is going up, one hand is going down. It's the elbows. You see the elbows? Horizontal, vertical, horizontal, vertical, horizontal, vertical, horizontal, vertical, horizontal, and vertical. You're just flipping and resetting. That's the same thing that happens on this side, but it's this side dropping and lifting and dropping and lifting. So you see they're both in vertical and horizontal, horizontal and vertical, and we just kind of flip and flop. Okay, so even though this is vertical elbow and elbow down, my hand is actually kind of curled like this rather than like this. So that's alternating shoulders. So we're here and here, elbow up, elbow down, elbow up, elbow down. So that's a plane of movement, but that's the exchange between vertical and horizontal that happens inside a lot of the postures. Okay, now we're going to bring our hands down here. Find that shoulder width stance. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's essentially cloud hands. Now when we turn like this, we turn to the corner. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I want to shift. Shift. Now this foot is free to move. So if it moves, I'm going to go over there. 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. So we're here. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you see how footwork takes you from side to side. And when we move, we're moving in this direction and in this direction and in this direction. Okay. When we move forward, like when we do this, we have this direction, this direction, this direction, and this. So it's very important that we build some coordination, but the thing to avoid tension and stiffness is to let the body kind of go with the motion. Okay, so those are the warm-ups that we do. We have some other ones that we actually expand up on into this position as one, and in this position as another. So everything that we're doing is spatial. We're doing movements to the front and to the side. And what's important is that we reach out like this, but not overreach. So we have frontal positions. That's square. Cross hands. Vertical. Horizontal. Palms down. Palms up. Palms down. Palms up. Hands up like this. Circle. Circle. Palms out. Palms in. Elbows down. Elbows out. Palms down. Fingertips down. So that's a lot of the geometry of positions. The standing meditation, because I want to do this just so you have something with stillness to practice, and you would just go to the lower hoop. now we go to the middle hoop. Just clear your thoughts, hold, breathe through your nose, and relax. Then we're going to go to this position. Okay, all three of those positions, we call 1, 2, and 3, are in a slightly bent knee position so that you can sit into your stance. So that helps us settle and relax in a stance. Now when we bring our hands down and we start to press, we want to straighten the elbows. And then we extend. Okay, now this is fingertips down, this is palms down. This one straightens the elbow and the knees. So we're in an erect position, chin tucked in slightly, and feel like you're being lifted and hanging from above. Okay, now extend like this, still straight, not locked, and straighten the knees. Okay, so there's 5 positions. The 2 bent knee positions with the 2 hoop positions, and this position, okay, triangle position. Then you have your, so essentially the square positions. Okay, so that's something you can do, a few minutes a day, standing in a position. For balance, we can practice shifting from side to side, always moving the unweighted foot. In addition, you can practice your pivoting, okay, and turning. Forward, back, and turning again. Pivot, turn, forward, back. So that gives you some things to work with. All different, developing different motor skills. Pivoting, shifting, and then building that coordination. So the next thing we do, and the standing meditation is just to let yourself clear your thoughts and develop, a sense of relaxing. And at the same time, let the body pick up on the shapes, the body form. So these are all sort of images that we pick up over time, and then eventually we build better transitions. And then keeping the body up, looking out maybe 8 to 10 feet, depending on where your gaze is. I mean, the taller you are, the further you would probably see or look. But the thing is, it's just keeping you from, looking too close to where you're standing, because then your head will tilt, and then you actually want to do that. Okay, now, Tai Chi is actually a bunch of postures. There's actually Tai Chi Paradigm is a series of movements. We do that in the normal class in the mornings. It's called the Tai Chi Paradigm in the 108. That builds the sequence. That class, we've gone through working through the frontal part of the form, starting with preparation, which is this. Okay, so the regular class, we work more on sequence of the form. Here we're going to work on a bit of sequence. So here's your vertical and your horizontal. Okay, so we try that again. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3. Adjust your feet. Get your left foot forward. Get your left hand up. Okay. Now we're going to horizontal round out like this. We're going to sit back and turn and step through. Drop the elbow and switch hands. And we go forward. Separate the hands backwards and forward. That's grasp the sparrow's tail. So what we did was actually the beginning style, which is a transition from with the left and right side. We did the opening movement, it's called preparation. And then we did the beginning style with the flip to get in the other side, and then grasp the sparrow's tail. Okay, so grasp the sparrow's tail, once the right foot is up, is this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's try that again. 1, 2, 3. Inside hand up. 4. Okay, now let's go to the corner. You see what I just did? Hook the wrist now. Turn that front foot 45 degrees. Let's bring this foot to here. Now we're facing that corner. Step out, not too big, pivot on the heel. 1, 2. So you see how important it is to understand how to pivot so you can get into your stances correctly and find the arm position by drawing across like this. Now, this is called single whip. Hold the ball is a transition like this. So single whip and hold the ball are part of that, okay? Now, if I hold the ball like this and shift over, here's the hold the ball. Diagonal flying. If I shift my weight, there's the 45, there's the foot that's stepping out, that's your right side, vertical and horizontal. Now let's pass through center. Shoulder width. Raise the hand, bend from the waist, stork flaps wings. So you see this position, carry tiger to the mountain. You see this position, right, cross hands, okay. Diagonal flying, diagonal flying. So diagonal flying is separating from the center. When we hold the ball and we go like this hand goes down, this hand goes up. So you see when we're holding the ball position in that position and we cross, there's a position where the hands separate from the cross position. So really they're kind of pass-throughs. Every time you make a maneuver, you pass through a point. That point is your kind of the center line or the cross positions that we have. So, the cross hand position that's on your middle line is really split into the same cross, but varies with the direction of your palms. Okay, so that kind of gets you to realize that your palms change directions, and it changes direction of movement. So when the hands are like this, they're going side to side. When the hands are going like this, they're going up. When the hands are going down, they're going down. So palm up, down, and in and out. So in is this way. If I want to go out, it's this way. So actually the palm kind of is the surface that you're utilizing to go in a direction to do, say, some kind of function. So the palm, I guess, is the surface that you would use to hold something, to grab something. So it's the natural direction for the hands to curve this way because that's your grasping. That's your grasping reflex. When the hand goes in and it wants to attach, that's the way it would go. So when I go this way, that's trying to touch something with this so that I could use that reflex. If I go this way, that's the direction is to either grab or to push. So the direction of your palm really determines the direction of your pressure. So in other words, if you were to wipe a table and you put a cloth in your hand, you would do it with a palm down position, and then you would do that. Right? When you wash something, you use your palm side, so that's the side that you develop. That's the side that you would push. So that's something that we don't really think about or pay attention, but you can see how directional movements are tied to where the palms are facing. Okay. So when we're here, well, you say, well, the palms are facing a direction, but where's the contact here? Well, because the direction is actually slanted, then the movements are using the edge of your hand or the edge of the arm. So we have actually 4 surfaces on our limb. We have this surface, the back side, the top edge, and the bottom edge. So really, those 4 sides are actually 4 different planes of movement. So when we walk, we want the hands to go like that. So we're using, because directionally it's going using this edge. When we go this way with that exercise, the hands are going backwards and the palm is facing toward the back. So the pressure side is on that. When we do a deep breathing exercise, the palm is up and then the palm is down. On the upside, it kind of feels like it's lifting because that's where the direction is going, and then pressing down is the direction. So you're tying that with a direction of movement. Now when we do the deep breathing exercise, it's like the palm is pulling toward the face. So the force or the direction of that force would be this way. Then when you go like this, the palms are down. You're not pressing. You're opening. So then the edge of the hands really would take you in that direction. So what is that? That's a consciousness of direction and the direction of those surfaces are your level of intent. So if the intent is to walk, then that's the direction we would head, and our hands are going this way. If we're going backwards, it would be the opposite. See? So we've done the forward and backward step by moving forward 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Actually, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. So what's important to initiate the movement is that if I'm here, where am I weighted? Here. If I take the next step, where am I weighted? Here. If I take my step backwards on the left, I'm weighted here. If I move this foot, I'm weighted here on the left. So the weighted foot is always opposite the moving foot. That kind of something that you may not think about, but now when you think about it, it makes sense. And then the other thing is you practice until you're conscious of that happening, and then you build your coordination. So on the opposite side is like this. On the opposite side like this. So if you have trouble getting 1, 2, 3 to happen, then you just do the first one. 1. Then bring it back. 1. 1. Then that kind of gets things going. Initiate the movement and then follow up with the next one and then follow up with the next one. So that's footwork. That's really taking you in a direction. Now we're going to do this. This is circles, clockwise, counterclockwise. Let's go clockwise. 1, 2, 3, and pause. Now when I pause, this foot can go. 1, 2, 3, pause. 1, 2, 3, pause. 1, 2, 3, pause. So where's the foot? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So that's how you know if you're in the right stance and the right leg weighted, because between the two, you have only 2 options. One's weighted, one's unweighted, one's weighted, one's unweighted. So just between those two leg movements, you can just work it till your movements are comfortable and you get a good response. Because that's important. If you're walking, if you have a little trouble taking that first step, it's probably because your weight is evenly distributed. So if you're ready to move and you can't, and you don't know what to move, the first thing you have to do is shift. The first thing you have to do is shift. Okay. So if your body is rigid and this is tight, it doesn't want to move. So that's why you can't take that initial step. So part of the consciousness of what we're doing and the mindfulness of that is to understand what has to happen. And if you can get past thinking about it too much and get it to respond, then you're going to be on your way to a much better first step forward. So that's really a strategy, but at the same time, if you understand everything that I'm talking about, your focus and your practice, which is a training, will help you get through some of this. And we're trying to prevent any progression of any specific motion. Then you have to work with it to try to understand it better. And once when you start to understand it better, it's really as simple as moving from side to side or from front to back, right? So front to back, you're always bringing the weight either back or forward depending on where you're going. So when you shift it back, then you go that way. When you shift it forward, I go this way. If I shift it this way, I go this way. I shift it this way, I go this way. So that's really what ends up happening. Now, if I shift this way, how far do you shift that way? Just enough for the foot to find center, because then you're going to change directions. If I bring it to center, if I don't change directions, I can actually switch it to the other foot and then go in that direction again. That's footwork in the cloud hands. It's footwork in the forward-backward movements. It's forward in the stepping through. So I think in the last class at 9:30, I did some footwork where you kind of go forward, back, twist, and step through. Go forward, back, twist, step, and step through. And I showed the difference between those positions with the hands, that relationship with the two forward motions. So that'll help you build some transitions later on. Okay, I think it's about time. So on that note, I think we're going to close. YouTube is the best way to access these videos. You go there. If you subscribe, then you'll get notices that there's going to be another show or another program. Those are the live ones. And the other thing is, when you subscribe and you give a thumbs up, it keeps you in that loop, and all those videos are there, and you can just look for them. You can look for the ones that are in Tai Chi Paradigm for PD, or you can look for some of the morning classes that work with the form. So the more you see it, the better you get. So it's just common for learning, especially visually. All right, I'll see you next time. We have another class next Tuesday. Between now and next Tuesday, Saturday, sometimes you have time, take another look. Okay, see you next time.